Now, Moses also taught you to bury your waste, right? Things like that, right? He also taught you to separate people with leprosy from people who don't have it, or what we call quarantine today, right? Uh, uh. So Moses did do some good things, so a human do, right? I'm not saying that. But when you say God told you, what you really mean is Moses through the scriptures told you instead of God. Right? Even God said, I'm sending you instead of me. Right? But you treat it like the man sometimes is less than a man, right? Or can't make mistakes too. Right? You put him on what's called a pedestal. But then you don't understand some of the things he said and misinterpret it, right? Or take it too seriously, right? But what does it look like if a husband, okay, has a wife and she cheats on him, and the only answer he has for that is to stone her or divorce her, according to the Torah as well. Now, two men, okay, first, Joseph, the father of Jesus, as the scriptures said of Isaiah 7:14, a woman shall conceive and bear a son. The word there is Alma, not Yolda, Alma. And again, there's a reason they don't show you Yolda instead of Alma, right? Alma is not yet sexually active, right? Yolda is about to give birth. So they're between two states. I am the virgin and I am the whore, saith wisdom. I am she who is faithful to her husband, but she who knows her husband doesn't love her and is unfaithful to her. And is acting like he's treating her right when he's treating her indifferently. And he don't see what he's doing is really ostracizing her, man. When he should just love her. And accept her for who she is to him, right? His wife. Now, your wife did not marry you to simply do things for you alone, right? Nor is she your plaything, nor is she your slave, nor is she your personal property, right? And you have to be confusing her a lot for her to do something with another man as well. But what you are doing is not understanding general ideas of marriage. Right? If you come at her like you're her God, like you can tell her what to do or not what to do, she's going to rebel then. Right? When you're a man too, you're a human too, right? You're not perfect. Now, there's one scene in that movie where I think I see some shower scene. And even though it's through a curtain or something, I can still see the silhouette behind it, right? In that movie she did with Dennis Quaid. But I'm not obsessed with it, right? Right. If I saw something or not, I saw something or not, right? But at the same time, though, her husband could have saw the same thing and freaking out over it, right? But again, right, it ain't so serious, my man, that you should ruin your marriage over it either. Because then you're not understanding how that's part of stalking. To try to see her while she's taking the shower in the house, right? Now, he also had tunnels and all that crap, right? So right? He's trying to let go of the past, but can't either. And they already know there's something weird vibe from him. And they don't try to really address his issues with what's going on, right? Or really try to help the man really change. Though, like the scorpion and the frog, and they come to the water, and the scorpion needs a ride to get over to the other side, right? But the only way is if the frog lets it ride on his back. But again, as it starts crossing the water, and the scorpion's nature takes over and it stings the frog and they drown anyway. Right, right. You heard that story too, right? Right. So the frog is saying to the scorpion to begin with, the thing that happened to them as they went out and were swimming on the water with him on its back, right? What he said happened. But the scorpion also told him that wouldn't make sense, right? If I did that, trying to get him to let it ride on its back anyway, I'm done. But who's lying there? The frog or the scorpion? Obviously the scorpion, right? It's trying to convince the frog it won't sting when it knows it will. That's its nature. That's its nature, right? To sting him, right? But it is trying to reason with the frog for the same reason that it still needs to get over to the other side, but knows its nature will make him see it halfway over, right? And they both drown, right? And the frog be killed and the scorpion, right? Because neither one can survive drowning, right? The frog, just because it's in water, don't mean it breathes water like a fish, right? It's an amphibian, right? And again, husbands, keep your wife at home, which you can't do. See, when I'm with someone, it's not going to be the girl who's going to resist me if we have a thing. It's going to be the men who don't want me with her. We all know that, right? Whether it's her dad and he knew she was 15 and not supposed to work at the store, right? But let her work anyway, and I thought she was 37 because that's what she said she was. Right? She's lying and trying to prove to me she's 37. Right? To sleep with me. To sleep with you. Because, see, a 37-year-old can sleep with me, a 15-year-old cannot, right? And if you're losing an hour, that's enough time to have sex with her at least 2 times. For me. 7 and 7 even. But again, when you know it's too late, right? You know she lied for whatever reason she lied, and she knows I just came there for the massage, right? Or the nail job, or whatever, right? But because other men want the happy ending and I don't, she wants to see if I'll do something different than what I'll do with her, right? Which, since she's let me do it, she's consenting, right, to what I did, and she likes it, or I told her you can stop me at any time, right? And once I put it in, she keeps saying deeper, 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 deeper. And that's what gets us caught, right? But I come too, right? Before we're caught, right? You're too late if you're trying to stop us from doing something. We done did it. We done did it. But all you can do, like I told you, is black me out from that incident and act like it was something wrong and I won't remember it maybe. You know. But she will. You can't black her out. Like me. Well, that's why I still have to involve the ER. Either I'm schizophrenic and I'm having a heart attack and blacking out with her, or they're blacking me out after sex and I'm not sure we had the sex, but I'm sure we did something to lose that amount of time, at least 10 minutes, right? Now, I would be attracted to any attractive nurse in the ER that afternoon, but like I said, I ain't come here to butt nobody, right? Just figure out what's been happening to me. And am I healing like the Wolverine? Oh. But schizophrenic, you can't heal you like the Wolverine and Jesus, right? Or lepers. Which, that's a disease you can't hide, you don't have anymore. And even females get leprosy, Peter. Not just the mutant, right? Because they sealed it in the Septuagint anyway, and only John is bringing it out with what he's talking about in the first 3 chapters of Revelations anyway. Listen to what the scripture was changed to. And ye shall receive the riches of kings. But you think you're rich, but really you're poor. You think you see, but really you're blind. You're not seeing the word there was shat of kings. The female breasted kings. He's going somewhere with this in Isaiah. And who, again, is where he draws the idea of the 7 seals in the book written, which had the 7 seals in it. And the book was written on the back and front of it, right? Like we do a book now, right? A book has writings on the back and front, right? Of it now, right? And probably on the papyrus, you could do that too back then, right? You can write on the front and the back, right? Now, the Gnostics are claiming to teach the secret things of the disciples that they did not write out. Which even John confirms everything Jesus did, we did not write out. Therefore, you're only getting some of what he did, not all. So without the all, that's your lie. I don't know. You're keeping something secret that the Gnostics tried to reveal, but that when it got under Emperor Constantine, he just flat out rejected them, and you're rejecting them with Constantine, not with Jesus and God, right? Or John or Paul, who are teaching Gnostic teachings, not. Now, taser face. Sorry, not skeleton face. Late night shows back in the studio, so it's Fallon. Let's see where Kimmel's at. Oh, it's a rerun. He's got Michael Che. This is a rerun. Right, right. Now the thing is, though, right, right. I was taught to treat each woman as an individual, but I was also taught that if she had something she didn't want to do, all she's supposed to tell you. Like with the song, "Don't Hand Me No Lies and Keep Your Hands to Yourself." The woman makes it clear to her suitor she does not want sex. Right? But the problem is, Sheena did not. No. I didn't know, okay, her level of religiosity when I was going to lick her and have sex with her. Right. And she's supposed to tell me how she feels, especially if we're making out the night before and I'm trying to go down on her and things like that, right? And I'm already trying to do things with her of a sexual nature. That's when you say, I'm waiting for marriage. And not 3 weeks later, in the breakup letter, or 4 weeks later, the breakup letter, I don't even know what I did wrong, right? It's too late then to apologize. It's too late then to say, I didn't want sex with you, I just wanted oral, right? Because I'm not thinking you want only oral. If you want oral at all, I'm thinking you want a different sexual experience because of your dad, right? You want a man to love you as you are and accept you as you were, and not judge you for your past, is what I was thinking, right? Which is what I was trying to do. It wasn't your fault. Your crazy dad tried to do something with you and didn't know better. But that don't mean you're damaged goods just because he did. I'll make love to you like you want me to, and I'll hold you tight, baby, all through the night. Which ain't that what we did? Be honest. I made love to you. I only tried to make love to you. No woman, gay or straight or waiting for marriage, right, is going to stop a male who she feels is trying to rape her and not make love to her anyway, Gina. You didn't stop me from doing what I was doing with you. Why? Because you liked it. And if someone else is writing you in my name, which is what I'm also trying to figure out, maybe that was it. Or maybe you're not understanding, right, why my dream is that way. And what it really does is identify me unconditionally as one of the two prophets John spoke of in Revelations who would be caught up to the throne of God in his dream. Not Jesus! Which is a misinterpretation of the church, right? See, the male child they're talking about is caught up to the throne of God in heaven, but the only way you can do that here is if it's in a dream, right? Like with Joseph's dreams. Which had to do with the sun, the moon, and the 12 stars bowing to him. Or 12 stalks of wheat bowing to him. Or 14, whatever it was. 13, right? Well, whatever it was, I don't know. They didn't like him because of his dream. Right? So he isn't judging them, right? It's more they're judging him. Right. After the sex. When he tells them about the dream and that it might have to do with the two witnesses, right? Which, like I said, that's not something you bring up every day if your people in the church don't want to understand it and aren't explaining it to you either. Well, who is standing at the right hand of God in heaven and can see the light anytime he wants to? Jesus or me? Jesus. Now, Jesus can be born again if he so chooses, right. But he comes at a specific time and leaves at a specific time, according to the disciples anyway. And once he left, right, the angel said he will come in like manner as you see him come this time. Right? Does it mean he'll go through the whole thing again like Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob? Right. I am the God of Isaac and Jacob, and they are resurrected too, right? Which is the topic, right? It is the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, forever, forever. And if you're replenishing something, you're doing so from the beginning of time. And if the timeline is billions of years, and the planet looks older than we thought it was, we're deceiving ourselves of the timeline, right? One way or the other. Because either it should be shorter or what? Longer, right? If God keeps replenishing the planet, it also recreates everything as it made it from the beginning too, right? All the creatures it made from the beginning. See, if there was a unicorn, right, like the dodo bird, it could have died out. If there were leprechauns, you don't know they couldn't have died out too. What happened to the leprechauns? You destroyed their forest and they died, right? Oh, but you think they're imaginary fairy tale creatures. Right. Well, somebody's seeing it, whether you believe them or not. Right. And they can't tell you what happened to the creature, only it is no longer around. Which means every time someone mentioned one, someone was trying to hunt it and maybe killed it, right? Once you kill off all the unicorns, they're what? No more unicorns. No more unicorns. That's again because if something made us from scratch by the dust of the earth of the planet, we're not really different than one another either, nor are we exactly the same because we're dust creatures, patterned after a certain pattern. Why do you think people have brown, blue, green, or black eyes? Why do you think some eyes look bluer than others, right? Or greener, or a different shade of green, or even a different shade of brown. Right? Why do some people go blind? Why do some people go deaf? Well, the first test, to test someone going deaf, to see if they hear or not, is to do a sound to determine if the child could hear the sound or not. If the child does not hear the sound, what is the first phrase the child hears from its mother and father? Is the child deaf? Can they hear us? Could this not make Satan make the child deaf and not to hear its parents? Because they judged it as so? Once the parents think the child can't hear, magically the child can't hear. When they determine the child can't hear, and the whole time they're telling the child, you can't hear, 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 you can't hear. It can't hear. You're convincing your child they can't hear, they can't hear, they can't hear, right? That they understand. to the point that their part of the brain that controls hearing shuts off. And they can't hear you anymore. Being you're the parent judging the child that it can't hear. You're telling the child, you can't hear, you can't hear. We are playing these things before you, and you cannot hear them. Do you hear what you're saying to your child? You're deaf, you're deaf, you're deaf. And the child is what? Deaf. Stevie Wonder didn't go blind till his brother died, by the way. Think about that one. Are you blind? Did you not see your brother was about drowning in the water? What happened to his brother? He was drowning in the water. But why didn't Stevie know what was going on? He never seen a drowning before, lady. Mom. He didn't know what that was.